Good morning, everyone. Lenny Pinna here on a cooler morning in Garberville, California. I just wanted to show that I did plant the zinnia seeds last evening in those rows. And I'll come over here to my other bed where I planted the zinnia seeds in patches and the potatoes in their own patch there. So now it's time for me to attack the herb bed. For those who have already been following, you can see that I had already liberated the chives in this area, and look how well they are doing now. Remember, they were lying down flat and totally anemic under all that Greek oregano. So now, just look at all this mint, that just has to be cut back, and room has to be made for cultivating nice little beds of herbs. And I think I just discovered the Italian oregano but in addition to the Greek oregano there. And so I love Italian oregano. I love both, but I love the Italian oregano, and I'm so glad to see we have some. So that's what it's time to find out what's going on here and to make it a beautiful bed. First thing I'm going to be doing is pulling the grasses and weeds and undergrowth. Look at all this. Oh, got the tubing there as well. Out of there. There's so much under there. Before I start then cutting back the actual herbs. But I got to get rid of the weeds and the grasses in here first. Now that I can begin to see what's underneath, I think you're going to find this surprising, and it goes along with what I found out the other day. I saw some of these 3 leaves that looked like they had a little shine, and some of them were turning red. Well, having lived here before, I thought, oh, is this the first indicator of poison oak? So I told Nari about it, and she said, no, those are actually strawberries, some variety of strawberries. Well, they are buried under all this mint. They probably did not produce this year because they are all buried underneath. So I'm actually going to be pulling out a lot of the mint in these areas that have taken over beds of other things, and liberate these strawberries, hopefully for next year. So I'm attempting to pull as much of this mint out by the root, which I'm sure is going to take even a little longer. I'm sure there are roots underneath there. But just to give you a view now of what this might look like sometime as a strawberry patch. And this is what's all been pulled out, just of that area right there. So reclaiming the strawberries. Oh, look here, a solo onion. All right, we're gonna dig it up. Ugh. Well, cleaning it up a little bit. There's just a little onion here, enough to put in a salad or something. Aha, I just uncovered another onion. Slightly bigger. I've been noticing there's also a couple of little dead bulbs around, so there must have been some onion in this bed at some point. I am over halfway through the bed, and I have just reached the Italian oregano. Now, if you notice, the Italian oregano is only planted here on the side. There was no room for it in the middle with all that mint. And strawberries. Strawberries also multiply constantly as well. So just as you might have started rooting for the strawberries being liberated from the mint, I'm going to be drawing a line here at the oregano. And from there on, I'm going to be pulling out strawberries as well, because I want the rest of the bed to be herbs. So strawberries are going to have their limit as well. So as I was pulling mint, I accidentally pulled out this long stem of oregano, but it has root on it. So it's going to be one of the ones I pull off the side, and I'm going to transplant them into the middle of the bed once it's all cleared, and trim them down and give them room to start making an oregano patch in the middle. So it's time to resort to the big guy here, and I'm going to be digging up the strawberries so that I get everything by the root and their underground system as well, and whatever mint is under there as well. So as the sun is starting to creep over onto this bed, and I'm going to be taking a little break, I just want to show that I dug out a lot of those roots out of this area, and I began amending the soil with the chicken manure and the pellets. Now I'm going to be putting some of the topsoil on there, and I'm going to transplant. After I work that into the soil, I'm going to transplant this tuft of Italian oregano right there in the middle. Because I want a little sense of accomplishment today, I'm not waiting for the aeration of those fertilizers. I'm going to transplant this oregano. It's not a new plant, it's a hardy plant. It's well developed. I think it's going to be just fine. So look at the developed root on that. It even has lots of other little oregano plants that are along the line of the root that are going to come out. So I put that solo oregano that I picked earlier, and I'm going to put them all together in this pit, and I'll show you when it's done. So there you have it. The Italian oregano has been transplanted to nutrient soil. It's a little bit of like a metaphor like me being transplanted out here to California. I think it's going to be very happy right there in the middle. I'm going to let it grow. I'm going to let it acclimate for a few days before I trim it down so that it gives it more strength below in the root. And then if that goes well, I'm going to move this oregano also up more into the center of the bed so that they have room to spread. Well, I think it's time for me to take a little break. I think I did enough work for this period of time. Who knew there was going to be drama today? Little dramas of mint having taken over the world of the bed of the strawberries being liberated, and the Italian oregano being found and transplanted. So it's been a fun day in the garden. Thank you for joining me as always, and I'll see you next time.